Every single day in Italy, tourists have their phones stolen, their wallets lifted, and their passports taken. And most of them never even see it coming. So I'm going to break down for you some of the biggest scams happening in Italy right now so you know what to look out for. And stick around until the end because I'm going to show you exactly what to do to protect yourself before you even get on the plane. I'm Gary with Optimal Travel. Let's get started. Not too long ago, I was sitting at a cafe near the Trevi Fountain when I noticed a woman carrying a handful of leather-made goods walk up to a man and asked if he was interested in anything. And before he knew it, another man bumped into him, grabbed his wallet out of his pocket, and took off. The man didn't even see it happening. Unfortunately, pickpockets like these are all over Italy, but especially in the tourist areas. They target tourists specifically, and they tend to work in teams. They usually operate using a distraction technique like this. But one thing you can be sure of, they're going to congregate and tend to operate in crowded areas. Anytime you're in one of the big cities like Rome, Florence, Venice, or any city that tourists go to in Italy, you have to have your guard up. Be wary about crowded spaces. That's where these people tend to operate because it's easy for them to get in and out unnoticed. One area where this pickpocket crime is heavily on the rise is in train stations. So if you're going to take the trains in Italy, which most tourists do, it's best not to have to buy your tickets there, not to have to linger at machines and try to figure them out. It's best to use your app on your phone because Italy has a train app, which I have a link for in the description. And you can download this app and you can buy your tickets and you'll have electronic tickets right on your phone because there are so many instances of so-called friendly locals offering to help tourists figure out these ticket machines. And the tourist ends up with the ticket and the local ends up with their wallet or their passport or worse. There's one thing I always do when I'm traveling through Italy to avoid being pickpocketed, and that is I carry a backpack and it has a hidden pocket on the backside that's facing me where I zip up any valuables, including my passport, my extra cash, or any credit cards. And that backpack is always attached to me. Nobody's getting away with it. If you have a purse or a bag that you carry, just make sure it's always zipped up and you never have any openings in it. Pickpockets are looking for an easy target. If you're carrying valuables, money, your wallet in your pocket, that's easy to distract you and take without you really noticing. So put it somewhere else. Some people like to wear these belts underneath their clothes that have zipper pockets on them to keep their valuables. And when you do need to get at your wallet or your valuables, make sure you're not doing it out in the open in crowded spaces. Make sure you're in a cafe or inside a restaurant or somewhere where the crowds aren't and people aren't watching you and noticing what you're doing. Italians love to eat outdoors, and you're probably going to find yourself wanting to sit outside at a cafe or a restaurant at some point during your trip in Italy. Unfortunately, criminals target these areas as well. So when you're eating outside in Italy, don't set your phone or other valuables down on the table because it's so easy for somebody on the street to just run by, spot that, grab your phone, grab that backpack, and keep running. And there's very little you'll be able to do about it. If you have valuables in your bag or your backpack and you're going to take that off to eat, either keep it on your lap or tie it to a chair. That's what I do. I just strap my backpack to the chair. It has a clip. I unclip it and clip it right through the chair so nobody's getting away with that. And even when we do everything right, sometimes bad things still happen. So in a few moments, I'm going to show you exactly what you can do to protect yourself in the unlikely event that you are a victim. But first, I'd like to know if you've ever traveled anywhere and seen a crime like this or even been a victim of one. Put it in the comments below. First, I want to cover two more areas that you should be careful about. I know when you're traveling, a lot of times we have to get cash out and we need to find an ATM. And there are ATMs all over Italy. And a lot of them are in public, crowded areas like train stations. In my experience, it's much better to find an ATM at a bank because most banks in Italy will have the ATMs on the inside, which means you'll actually go through a door. It'll be monitored in a lot of cases, so they won't let more than one person in there at a time. And that's the safest way to get cash while in Italy because there are a growing number of instances in crowded areas where you'll use an ATM and somebody behind you will be watching for your PIN number. And then they'll basically mug you for your card and run off because they know with that PIN number, they can pull out a certain amount of cash right away before you can do anything to prevent it. And when you're visiting the big cities in Italy, if that's all you're doing, you probably don't even want a rental car because the trains work great and it's hard to drive around some of these big metropolitan areas. However, if you're going to be doing some more rural areas or going to see some more of the countryside or the coastline, you probably will want to rent a car. And if you do that, you have to be wary of car break-ins because there are thieves out there, especially in the tourist areas, looking for cars where people leave their valuables out in the open or they see a big backpack or a bag in there. You want to put all these things hidden in your trunk or under your seat or just take them with you. Don't make it look like it might be advantageous for somebody to break into that car because I've seen it and heard of it happening way too many times. Next, I'm going to tell you exactly what to do to protect yourself in the event that you do become a victim. But first, I would ask if you could take a minute, subscribe to our channel, hit that like button. It does help us grow and will continue to bring you travel updates. My biggest fear when traveling in Italy is that I happen to let my guard down somewhere and boom, my bag is stolen. And if they get my backpack, they've got my phone, they've got my wallet, my cash, my credit cards, and my passport. And that's why I always keep an up-to-date copy of all of my documents, my passport, my driver's license, my credit card information, in the Generational Vault. This is an online tool that is completely free for us to use thanks to the National Foundation for Financial Education. So if anything happens, you can go to any computer anywhere in the world and you can get a copy of your passport. You can get your credit card information. You can get your bank information so that you can turn off all of those cards, so that you can get a wire transfer of money if you need it. And this is vitally important to resolving any kind of problem quickly. Now, I'm going to bring on here the executive director of the National Foundation for Financial Education, who makes it possible for all of us to use this service for completely free. If you're traveling anywhere outside of the country, you need to do this before you leave. All right, so I have Chris O'Connor on here, the executive director of the National Foundation for Financial Education, and he's going to tell us all about how this generational vault works. How you doing today, Chris?
I'm still vertical, and that's a good thing.
Good to hear.
Ironically, I was going to Florence, which is, I don't know if you can see my shirt, but which I bought in December. And 2 months before that, my cousin Dan went to Florence, and he had a really bad experience. He took a cruise, and they took the train to Florence. And when he was returning, he couldn't get his credit card to work to buy the train ticket. And so this lady, Italian lady, helped him and said, you use a debit card. It makes more sense and it's easier. And so he did. And unbeknownst to him, she watched him punch in his PIN number in there. And he bought the ticket and got on the train. And unfortunately, she was on the same train, but 3 people bumped into him, knocked him over, and took his wallet, stole his cell phone and his wife's purse, and it was a real mess. And this was right before one of the stops, and they got off, and before Dan knew it, all of his stuff was gone, his passport, etc., because both of their passports were in his wife's purse. And so when they got back to the cruise ship, what do? Oh my goodness. So they also, once they got on the cruise ship, and it was hard to get on the cruise ship because all of their credentials were gone. So it was a real mess just getting back on the cruise ship. Well, not to mention that when they got done with the cruise, they didn't know what to do because their passports were gone. So that lesson really told me that it's a good thing to make sure that you have the ability to have access to all of your documents, including all your credit cards, everything that you need, especially your passport, because they actually had to backtrack, go down to Rome to the American consulate and get temporary passports so they could get home. And it was a real mess. Now, a lot of people say, well, it's no problem. I'll just take a picture of my passport. Well, if it's on your phone, that's great. But when they steal your phone, that doesn't do you any good. So the generational vault is a highly encrypted online portal that you can store all of your documents. And it really can make a huge difference.
And you say financial documents too, which makes sense, right? Because if you lose your credit cards, and how do you know who to call to report that kind of thing, right? And if you have that information saved that you can go to a computer anywhere and pull that down, it makes the recovery process a lot smoother, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
then
Sorry.
And what about, like, so we're talking about storing these, highly sensitive things on the internet. How is it safe to do that?
Well, there's a big difference between your typical cloud versus the generational vault, because the generational vault is actually a 2048-bit encrypted site, which is the same encryption depth of encryption that you use when you do online banking. So I'm not going to say that it's can't be hacked, but it's one of those things where if it does, it's a monumental thing. And why would anybody want to hack that anyway? They would rather hack a bank. And, so it's highly unlikely that your information will be hacked, just because of the encryption is the highest encryption that's out there. So that's part of the issue, is that you want to make sure that your documents are safe. And to your point, Gary, I actually had some people that were in Amsterdam on a cruise. They went for lunch one day, walking back to their cruise ship, and they got mugged. And so again, same thing. All of the stuff is gone. Passports, cell phones, everything. He ends up in the hospital because he got pushed down, cut his head open, and had a concussion. So he had to spend the night overnight in the hospital, and they didn't have anything. So the point there is that whenever we're traveling, I make sure that we have our powers of attorney in our generational vault too, because what's the worst case? Let's say we both get hurt, unconscious. Who's going to act on our behalf for our health care, and also who's going to pay the bills? So when you have a financial and healthcare powers of attorney, that's very important to have too. And by the way, because the National Foundation for Financial Education is a 501c charitable nonprofit, we will actually give you the generational vault free of charge. And we also give you free financial and healthcare powers of attorney, because it's amazing to me that so many people don't have it, and they really should. And the nice thing is, if you have those powers of attorney and you have the generational vault, if at any point you can have a child or a trusted person go in there and work on your behalf. And a lot of people just don't have that. And it's really important, especially when you're traveling in a different country. So the other things that I would put in the generational vault, and that what's nice about it is you can put all your investment statements, your deed to your home, your trust or your will. If you have a will, you really probably should have a trust if you have any assets over, let's say, $100,000, because probate is extremely expensive. And I can take all my videos, all my pictures, and put them in the generational vault. And what's nice about it is that not only can I access them, but I've actually made a video for my kids to say, hey, if you're watching this, I'm gone. And these are the things I learned in life to pass on, and really kind of do a multiple generational thing. Because think about this, wouldn't it be great to have video of your great grandparents and what their life was like and things like that? And technology today makes that available. So kind of cool stuff.
Yeah, that's a great idea, because everybody stores these things on their phone these days, but what happens, you pass away, what happens to that phone? A lot of times those pictures can get lost, erased, and this is a great way to save those memories for generations to come.
Yeah, and my grandparents traveled a lot, and my grandfather and grandmother, they went to China in like the 40s, and it would have been great to. And granted, there wasn't the technology back then, but there is today. So you can take those once in a lifetime memories and perpetuate them forever, basically. Kind of cool.
Well, thank you very much, Chris, for making this generational vault available for free to use. It's really free. We have a link in our description that you can click on and just sign up for an account. No strings attached, completely free, right?
Yep.
And you mentioned a couple other things financially that people might want to consider, especially if they do a lot of traveling. If anybody has any questions related to that, other financial questions related to estate planning or those kind of documents, do you have like a website we can link in here where they can get in touch with you?
Yeah, it's nfffe.org. It's the National Foundation for Financial Education. So it's NFFE.org, and that's our website. And we're dedicated to helping improve people's quality of life by teaching them proper financial literacy. And that's really our goal.
All right. And that link will be in our description as well. Thank you very much for coming on today, Chris. I appreciate it.
Okay. Thanks, Gary.
So now that you'll be able to outsmart all the scammers in Italy, there are a lot of mistakes new travelers to Italy frequently make. I'll tell you how to avoid those right here.